coming up next. Bookin' It reads Number of the Stars. Hi everyone, and thanks for listening. I'm your humble and eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs. Joining me today are our three panelists, Matthew Killingsworth,
Howdy.
Tanner Lewis,
Hello.
and Isaiah Rasky.
Hi.
Well, this week, guys, we got something new for you. We're doing something we didn't do with the two Oppid episodes. We're going to do some background on biography. So, Matthew, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Howdy, everybody, again. I'm here to talk about Lois Lowry. Just give you a few facts about her. So, to start it off, she was born on March 20th, 1937, in Honolulu, Hawaii. Her parents, who were named Gordon and Catherine, named her Sina after her Norwegian grandma. But the funny thing about that story, is that her grandma ended up writing to her parents to get her to change her name to an American name because she didn't want her to have a Norwegian name when she lived in America. She had two siblings, an older sis and a younger brother. Her older sis sadly died from cancer in 1962. Her family moved many times during her childhood because of her dad's job. She moved all around the U.S. and even once to Japan. She went to school during her teen years and eventually married Donald Gray Lowry, who was a U.S. Navy officer. She got her degree in English literature while simultaneously raising 4 kids. She wrote her first book in 1977 called A Summer to Die at the age of 40. She then divorced her husband that very same year. And for the rest of her life after that, she wrote numerous books, in fact, over 40 books, which is a lot. And that's all I have about Lois Lowry.
Gosh, I mean, it's only been like 40 years and she's written 40 books. That's a lot. And how are you going to churn out those? Alrighty, well, let's hop right into baggage. So, Matthew, we'll start with Isaiah. Isaiah, where did you first hear about this book? What were your first experiences with this?
So I'd never heard of this book until 7th grade when I had to read it for school. And then, yeah, it's a pretty good book.
Nice. Tanner, what about you?
Yeah, so once again, I had this book show up on my bookshelf, and as you guys probably know, the reason I'm on this podcast is because I read books constantly. I'm always reading a book, and if I'm not, you better come ask me what is happening. Yeah, so I read it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to be doing this podcast on it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Matthew?
I have pretty much the same story as Isaiah. In 7th grade, I was assigned to read it for school, and I was super bummed out about it because I hate reading books for school. And I read it and enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. So, great job, Lois Lowry, because you actually made a book that I liked reading for school.
Let's hop right into the book. Does Lois Lowry, does she set the stage well for a kid's book during these dark times for the Danes? Does she get the mood right while still kind of making it simple for kids?
I think so, yes. Like, they still had, about, like, they were rationing food, they were taking away the Jews and all that, but they didn't have it in as much detail as it could have been.
That's true. I agree. Yeah, she definitely did a great job explaining about the hard times they had, and making it simple for kids to understand, like you said, Cooper. Like, kids can understand families not being able to have food and people, being bullied into their shops closing, and they can understand people who are nice and people who are mean. And she does a good job of painting the picture of the Nazis being the mean people and everyone else just trying to, be protected from them.
But Dan, does she set the mood right? Does she get the overall feeling of darkness right?
I would say she did. I really think that she did a good job about showing us the real depravity of the situation that they were in, while also pressing it down enough and shrinking it to a more understandable size for kids that's reading and through a kid's perspective.
Yeah. Next question. The main character, Annmarie and her friend Ellen, they encounter some Nazi soldiers on the way home, and they don't tell their parents about the encounter. Is a good decision to lie in this case? I guess withholding the truth can be counted as a lie here, or should they have told them?
I don't know. It's difficult to say in this situation they're in, but I mean, it's always better to tell the truth. That's for sure. I think they were kind of scared, I think, and they just wanted to save their parents from being scared too, and save themselves from getting in trouble. Anyone else got any other thoughts?
No, mine was pretty much what you said.
Yeah, Matthew explained what I was going to say perfectly.
Yeah. Just a little fun little question here. What would have been the hardest thing to give up during the rationing, and why?
Meat.
As he does love his meat, don't he?
Don't say you don't.
Oh no, I love steak. I love steak. Yeah, especially bacon. Bacon is hard to give up too.
Man, the only thing better than bacon is more bacon.
Tanner, what about you?
Mine would be, as you know, food and all types of food. Any food that's rationed is not food.
Interesting.
That's a tough question for me, but I'd probably have to go probably food also because I love food. So
Let's not be general here. What type of food?
um, I guess they didn't have was ice cream invented back then? I don't know, but I like ice cream, and it would kind of suck if they took it away and didn't let us have it anymore.
Yeah. So reading it as we're all older than we were a few years back, how powerful was the line, "All of Denmark is his bodyguard," referring to the king as he's walking in the streets? How powerful was that?
That's a very powerful remark. That shows a lot of loyalty from
Denmark.
from Denmark, from Copenhagen.
Tanner, how powerful was it for you?
I just think that it's great because it shows the country's heart to protect. It shows how much the people love their leader, and it really helps unify the country in a united purpose to protect the king and to protect those who aren't being protected.
Cooper, I just realized you never said how you found out about Number of the Stars.
Oh, I did not. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so basically, kind of like Tanner, the book appeared on my bookshelf, but in this case, it appeared on my nightstand. I was at the time reading basically everything, and that my mom put on the nightstand. So I read Number of the Stars, and I greatly enjoyed it, and was very excited when we read it for school last year, and I'm excited to be talking about it right now. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Isaiah. Another line that I thought was really great was when the Danes had to blow up their own fleet because the Germans are about to take over it. And they're like, how sad the king must be. And then the dad was like, how proud. Well, that's a good line, She really does. I mean, I think in that case, she gets it. But does she overall just get the sense of loyalty that the Danes have?
I mean, I think it's just like the little snippets of things like that, especially the dad. He's very loyal, and every time she talks about the king, which is only 2 times in the whole book, but I mean, it just shows their loyalty and stuff, their commitment to their king and their country, and how proud they are.
Yes. Then they're talking about you have to be a bodyguard for the Jews. How tough would it have been if you had to make the decision to help Jews escape or house Jews in your home? How tough would that have been? Would you have done it?
I don't know. I think I would have done it, but the only way to find out is if I was actually there.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say from being 80 years after. Looking back on it, we can see which side was right and which side was wrong, but you can't always tell when you're in a situation. You don't always make the split-second right decision. So I think it would have been hard to say, but I'd obviously like to think I would have, because it's a good cause and it's not fair of the Nazis to kill innocent people.
Right.
But I just don't know if I'd be brave enough or not. I like to think I would, though.
Yeah, Tanner, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with what both Matthew and Isaiah said. I also just think that it depends on the situation that you were in back in that time, because it might have been that the whatever Jews that you had at your house are going to compromise even more people than you're actually going to be saving. But it's
So you're saying that if it compromises more people than you're saving, it's not worth it?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that everything has a everything's a sacrifice, and that I just don't know if I would have made the right sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that point. Yeah, last year when we had to, so when we read this for school, all of us last year, what we had to do was we had to write a persuasive essay on it. So we took an issue that the character had, or a decision the character had to make, and we had to come up with 30 reasons why they should have made the decision, and 30 reasons why they should not have made the decision. And I chose whether Annmarie's parents should have hidden uh, the Ellen's family, and I came up with 30 reasons for each, and I looked at it, and the evidence said that they should not have made the decision. But then I decided to go with the A, just because of the truth. It's doing the right thing. Um, you know, I like everybody said, you're not gonna know till you're in that decision. I just remember that line from The Hiding Place. Such a great book, guys. I recommend The Hiding Place to everybody. But in there's a line where she's talking about, I don't know if I could do, I don't know, what was she talking about when she said this line? Oh, I don't know if I could be persecuted. And the father said, when do I give you the train ticket when we get on the train? And she said, right before we board. He says the same way with our Heavenly Father. He gives you the strength that you need at the right time. And so I just think that, I think all of us being, Christians, that I think we would have had the strength to do it because we had the Lord on our side.
So, for other listeners, if you guys haven't read this book, Annmarie and Ellen are like best friends. They're both 10 years old, and Ellen is Jewish. This is about 3 years into World War II in Denmark.
Right. And so basically the issue of the book is trying to get Ellen's family to Sweden, which remains free for racial reasons, I think. We won't get into those right now. If you had been in your room with your friend and the Nazi soldiers had come and looked for your friend and at the middle of the night, how freaked out would you have been on a scale of 1 to 10?
10. That would have been terrifying.
But why, Isaiah? Why would it have been terrifying? Why would it have been a big shock?
Because you're a 10-year-old girl and these two big men come in the middle of the night with guns in their hands.
Think about that. At 4 in the morning, they just barge in your room with guns, and you're hiding your friend who's Jewish.
Exactly. And you know that she's like the most illegal thing in that like building.
Right. Tanner, what about you?
But I have to give this to Annmarie. I was impressed at her reaction time, and as soon as she heard the Nazis, the first thing she thought of was to like take away any evidence that would show that Ellen was a Jew. So she ripped off her star necklace, and I was impressed at that. I don't know that I would have thought about it like after they had already come in and turned on the lights or something. I would have been like, dang it, I should have done that. But I don't think I would have been able to just automatically reach for her necklace. And
What about you, Tanner?
Yes, I would have been, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 9. It would have been terrifying, but meeting the devil face to face would be more terrifying. Let's be honest.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean that probably would have been one of the worst experiences of my life, though, that it happened.
Yeah, I would agree with Matthew in that her reaction time might have been a little bit off, like in that it was super quick.
But then again, if they're in that time and you're constantly hearing from your parents how the Jews are innocent and how the Nazis are trying to kill them, yeah, and like the whole reason she was even at their house was because she was being hunted. I mean, I guess that would put it, yeah, like you said, on the forefront of your mind. But we should probably move on.
Yeah. Would you guys be willing to die for the sake of the Jews?
That is a tough question. Very deep.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to say I would, but I have no idea because I never had that, like, option or choice. I wasn't actually there to, like, never had to think about that before or anything.
These are tough questions to answer in this time.
I mean, I think I would do what I felt like God was calling me to do. in that moment, you know? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it would be the better option for me to live and several Jews to get killed, but God might have some reason, and I don't know. I don't always know what his reasons are. So if he, if I knew that
Yeah.
I was a sacrifice for a greater cause, for lots of people to live,
Yeah.
then I probably would. But if I knew God had something important for me to do, and that he needed me to do, something else. I don't know, that sounds lame. It sounds like I'm trying to make excuses or something to like get out of it. But I don't know. It would just
Yeah.
really depend in the moment.
I would. I think it would be, as I think about it, I think it would be more Christ-like to die for the sake of somebody else to live than to let somebody else die for me.
But then wouldn't the Jews have somebody else die so they could save them? Oh, I see. So you're saying you word that kind of. So you mean like you'd rather die to save someone else than to save your own skin and have someone else die?
It's more
Yeah.
Christ-like to die as Christ and to live as gain.
All right.
Sorry.
Right. But is it at all concerning that in this book they almost never really struggle with the thought of lying to protect the Jews? I mean, was that at all a thought to you guys?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we can compare this. I don't want to get completely off topic, but we
Yeah.
can compare this again to The Hiding Place, which is a book, for those of you who don't know, by Corey ten Boom. Great book about the Holocaust period. Definitely longer than this book. Definitely a more mature book.
Highly
But
recommended.
they really struggle with the thought of lying, and I think it's Corey, right, that never lies, or her sister. Yeah. Betsy will not lie.
No, no,
Right.
no, no. Her other was it her sister-in-law?
No, I thought it was Betsy.
No.
Well, anyways, that's not important. One of the it's basically about them protecting Jews in their house, and they have tons of Jews, and they're just constantly trying to hide them, and that's like basically becomes their full-time job for a long time, and they really struggle with the thought of lying and being dishonest because they know it's wrong, but they have to decide what's better, to save people's lives or to lie to people who are trying to kill people. So it's always been a debate in our class when we've read these types of books, and it's always definitely something good to think about. But I don't know, it's really just a tough decision.
One person literally lies in the book and gets Jews captured. Um, and they get really mad at her, but then she said that God told her that that it would be all right, and literally all the Jews end up escaping from the prison.
You mean she didn't lie?
No, she
Yeah,
did
yeah.
not lie. You're right. And all the Jews got captured, but they all escaped.
Mhm.
So
Because God told her that lying is wrong, and if you don't lie, if you just trust me, things will work out, and they eventually did. And every single one of those Jews that she didn't lie about ended up escaping and being free. So
it was very powerful. So do you guys enjoy the little code segment that we got there? I mean, it was kind of fun, I guess, but in the hiding place to do that too. So it wasn't that new, but did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I wish they would have done more, or Lois Lowry would have done more with it, though.
I mean, she kind of did. The weather's right for fishing and all that.
yeah, the codes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how they put a little bit of it in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was really cool, like especially in the hiding place, like the whole idea of their codes and like how they figured out how to work stuff and how the whole net of trusted people and untrusted people and stuff. But I guess it was a book for younger audiences. This book was Number the Stars, and I think they put enough. I think she put enough in for the audience it was directed at.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of this book was when she's describing little house on the sea. I thought that was really great. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean that was definitely one of her best descriptive parts. It sounded like a great place, and it sounded like she put in, like, she made you feel how they had memories there. They used to go there, and like how I think there's like one part where she's like I don't know, what is she doing? Like sitting on a rock or in the grass or something and like remembering another time when she was in that same spot.
Mm-hmm. Tanner, what do you think about it?
I enjoyed the scenery there. I thought it was really good. I thought that was definitely the most descriptive part of the entire story. And I think that it helped move the story along because that's where we spend almost the entire book. And
Yeah, more than half the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. It's a good 2/3 of the book. Yeah.
so it really helps you. It helps you see where they are.
Visualize it.
Yeah, better than when they're back in Copenhagen or at the harbor or such.
Yeah. So I guess we talk about um the cat. Now, if you're asking yourself why you want to talk about the cat, they call the cat Thor, the god of thunder. Now I have no problem with that, except when they capitalize G. Thor, god of thunder. I mean, I know you're laughing about it, Matthew, but that was really concerning to me. What were your guys' view on that?
I actually didn't even notice it was a capital G. I totally thought it was lowercase.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't either until you put it in the notes.
Really?
Yeah.
Tanner, what about you?
I didn't notice it until it was there, but let's be honest, I was listening to Audible.
Right. That's true.
I agree with you though, Cooper. I mean, you shouldn't capitalize any god's names except for the true God.
I mean, the first
So-
time I saw it, I was like, this has to be an editorial mistake. But it wasn't.
Really?
And multiple times it's mentioned. And I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, I don't want to see it too extreme, but does this want you to make it, degrade the book at all? Or,
No.
No.
no?
No, definitely not.
Not until we know for sure. I guarantee that she was not trying to make the cat seem like an actual god.
No, it's not like that, but it's like the name, like Thor, God of Thunder.
Yeah.
It's not the cat, so I don't know. You're right. I mean, we all agree that's wrong. Not much to talk about that. All right. The next chapter. What would you? How mad would you be if for the first time ever your parents had lied to you about something?
Probably pretty, especially if I was accustomed to them telling the truth all the time.
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad.
And especially if it was something big like that. Although, for this situation, it's pretty obvious what you're talking about the great aunt Betsy, right? Great aunt Betty or whatever, and
Birdie.
Yeah, but like
Birdie, yeah.
Birdie, my bad, Birdie, and it's pretty obvious that like they were doing it because they had to protect the Jews, and like again with the lying thing, I guess lying is wrong, but killing people is more wrong, obviously, like for us.
There's this line that Uncle Henrik says, "It's much easier to be brave if you don't know anything." Is that something that factored into the decision, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Either because like it's either that or he was just trying to make excuses for him lying so that she wouldn't like hate him. But I don't think he would just try to make excuses. I think they were trying to do that so that she would be more brave, and so that she would make smarter decisions and not be scared.
But sometimes, if you don't know everything, you can, let something slip or say something that you shouldn't have. Do you think that it was a risk worth taking?
Well, that's true, but I don't think it was really a risk in this scenario.
But let's say, Tanner, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad would you have been?
7 if they had never told me a lie in my life.
Well, that you knew of.
That's true.
See, I'd be like an 11 if they lied to me, but then when I think about it, like if they were doing it because genuinely they really just wanted to protect the Jews, and I might personally be a risk to the Jews, that it was also like my job to protect, then I probably wouldn't be as mad at them. I'd just be kind of disappointed in myself that they didn't trust me enough,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I'd definitely be upset that they lied, but if it was that reason, then I probably wouldn't be mad.
I agree. I think the circumstances, like, if you're, like, okay, this is going to be kind of weird. Let's take Spider-Man Homecoming, for example. So, Vulture, he's a very rich, dealing in black market weaponry, and his family doesn't know. And, I mean, he had lied to them their entire lives about how they got their money. And I would have been extremely mad if, let's just in this case say, my wife had been lying to me about something that big. So I think you need to take the circumstances and do example, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us open the casket, dude. Another close call. Is it lazy writing that they don't make them open the casket?
No.
No, I think it's even more exciting.
That they don't open the casket?
Is it? Can you ask the question again? I couldn't hear you.
Is it kind of lazy writing that the Nazis don't open the casket or make them open the casket?
No, I don't think so at all.
Explain yourself.
I mean, if you were them and you heard that they had a disease that could still be very contagious, would you open the casket?
No, but I'm saying, I guess.
No, Isaiah, what he's saying is, did Lois Lowry, did she just kind of, skim off and just make it easier on herself for writing it? And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's what happened.
But like, how many times is the cliche of there's something in the coffin they don't want to see, and they're like, oh, but the body had some sort of disease that's contagious. How many times has that been used?
I don't know. I've only heard of one.
I've literally only heard it once.
Really? You've never heard of that? I mean, I can't name anything, you're right, but I know there's multiple times where they're like, yeah, there's something contagious in here.
Yeah, I agree with Cooper on this fact. I've definitely heard multiple times where that's happened.
But keep in mind this book came out, in the
89.
Yeah. So I don't know if the other things have been referenced since then or before. I don't know. I still don't know what you've heard.
Yeah,
So.
but it wouldn't make sense if they did open the coffin, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't have opened the coffin. I'm saying that the cliche had been so. I'm assuming it's been used a lot since then. If it's been used a lot, then I think she could have handled it a little bit better.
But I mean, when she wrote that part, wouldn't she be thinking what the officer would think then, the Nazi? Like, what they would do, or what she would do if she was them? Not just writing a story.
I mean, think about it. If you're a Nazi soldier, and Jews are escaping, and you think they're escaping by the boats, and there's a coffin in there, and everybody's there, and you're just a little bit suspicious.
Well, that's why they walked in, because they were a little bit suspicious. That's why they entered the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're already there, why not just make them open the coffin just in case?
Yes, but if there was the disease.
Yeah, I mean, the mom, I guess, like, it didn't sound that great to me, but I guess she just convinced them, I mean, it wouldn't have convinced me, but...
Is there a better way to do this?
Not that I can think of.
A better way to write that chapter is what you're asking?
I'm just saying, let's just... Yeah, just the part. You think there's a better way. If you just had to guess right now, I think there's a better way to write it.
I mean, I'm sure there's a better way. I can't think of one right now, though. Maybe they could have had, like, everybody come over, and they could have been, I don't know, scattering her ashes or something. I don't know.
You're right. She probably would have had to rewrite the whole coffin scene and not just...
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's nothing we're going to talk about. So, this book moves along pretty quickly. I mean, is it too short for you guys or no?
I think it was good.
I mean, I don't mind short books. They're easy to read. It's a good book. I mean, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win, right? Yeah. Let me turn to page 80. So, they're taking a... Like, when you first read this, I guess you were a little older than I was, but was your heart thumping in your chest when they did this part?
What part?
Actually, I think so. The first time I read it, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little, but not much.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Did she kind of set the mood for that?
Definitely.
Lois Lowry, I mean?
Yeah, I think she said it well. I think she set the mood well. I think that it was very well written, and you were on the edge of your seat, but I don't think she did it because, once again, kids' book, you're not on the edge of your seat so
Right.
much.
I mean, did you have the back of your mind at all, like, this is a real story, it's not going to end where they get caught, Was that in the back of your mind at all?
Actually, I don't think I knew it was a real story
Same.
before like the first time I read it. But like even Cooper, even like in real stories or like, well-written fiction stories, somebody dies. They got to make it seem like they're at the bottom. They got to make it seem like they're at rock bottom before they win. So I didn't know. I didn't know who they were going to, I knew someone was going to survive and eventually the Jews were going to win because obviously like World War II, I know what happens, but
For those of you who don't know how World War II ends, we won. Okay. Well, if you were Annmarie and all of a sudden, you know, you were robbed of your childhood, would you have been more mature? How would that have affected your life from then on?
I have no idea.
I think like she kind of had to grow up quickly, Like
Yeah.
she had a lot of responsibilities at a young age.
Yeah. So was it right when Anne-Marie thought that not all of the Jews' pride was gone when they're getting in the boat and they're all that stuff?
What do you mean not all the Jews' pride was gone?
Like, the Jews, they used to be, let's take this. Imagine you're a shopkeeper. You're doing fairly well for yourself. And then you have to help, fall in the help of fishermen, and you have to hide in a compartment. You might get seasick, but your pride was still there. Do you think that's right?
I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be super proud, but like I'd be grateful for the people who are willing to risk their own lives and their families' lives to help me, to give me freedom. So I probably wouldn't be too worried about my own reputation and pride at that point, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd just be grateful for my life and for my family's life. That's about it. I mean, I don't think there's room in there for them to be prideful.
No, I mean not like prideful, but like the sense of dignity that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, so that's what I mean, still, like, I don't think I'd really care if I was dignified at that point or not.
Mhm.
I just want to get to Sweden as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Same.
All right, I think we're about to wrap up. Let me ask one last question. Do you think that Henrik's definition of brave on page 123 is a good definition? Here, Matt, you don't have your book, so I'll read it to you. He interrupted her, smiling. That's all that brave means. Not thinking about the dangers, just thinking about what you must do. Of course, when you were frightened, I was too today. But you kept your mind on what you had to do. So did I. Do you think that's a good definition of brave?
I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I can agree with that.
And why do you agree with that?
Like, no, I mean, maybe his wording was a
Well-
little bit off. I don't know. Because I can see where you're coming from enough to where you could ask the question. But I think he meant just, like, not focusing on the dangers, not being afraid. Like, have no space to be afraid, no space in your mind. Just focus on your goal and what you're supposed to do. And that's all, like, that's being brave. Just pushing the fear out and focusing on getting the job done, I think is what he's trying to say.
I think he's not saying push it out of the way. It's always going to be there. But you just keep your head and you don't let it take over, I think. Is that what we think, Isaiah? Right. Right.
Well, I think you could be saying, like, just do what you have to do and then think about, like, and be afraid later about it.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Amen, brother. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We got to do some donor shout-outs. So, Isaiah, what would one want to do if they wanted to get a donor shout-out?
So if they want to donate to us and get a shout out, they'd have to go to patreon.com/bookin it and donate $5 a month or more to get a shout out every episode in that month that they donate.
So, Matthew, who are our two donors?
Yeah, we've got 2 donors so far. The first of which is Cooper's own grandpa. His name is Van Pappy, and we're super grateful for this guy donating to us every month. And yeah, thanks Van Pappy. We really appreciate it. The second is Lizzie, and she is donating to us this month to get the shout outs, and we're very thankful for that. So thanks,
Yeah,
Lizzie.
Thank you so much. And if you don't want to go to all the trouble, do patreon.com/bookinit. We have included the link in the description below to make it super easy for you. But if you can't donate for whatever reason, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on our next. This is going to be On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, Book 1 of the Wingfeather Saga. And also, if you wouldn't mind, maybe leave us a nice 5-star review in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Until next time.
I hope you guys remember, this podcast is for you.